Welcome to Civitai.com, the home of the generative AI art community. If you enjoy this video, please consider hitting us with a like and subscribing, as it'll go a long way in helping us continue to bring you the highest quality AI community content. Please enjoy the video. All right, well, let's just go ahead and get started, because I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about. So guys, welcome to a very special Civitai creator session. All of them are special, but this one especially because I am joined by my good friend Lola Viscera. This is her second time on the stream with us, and I can't wait to catch up with her because she has had quite the glow up since the first time she was on here, and hopefully just through the conversation we can learn a thing or two from her. So Lola, hello. Why don't you remind the people who you are and what you do for those that are meeting you for the first time right now?
I'm Lola Viscera. You may know me for some meaty creatures on Instagram. When I met Tyler, I was at 400 followers, I think, on Instagram. Now it's at 10K. And we are still rolling. I've also started a YouTube now. That's what I do now. This is my life.
She also, I don't know if you guys remember, last time when we met her, she did not have a full-blown camera setup. She was still just operating off her webcam, and she has went all in on being like this intense AI horror, creepy crawly, ugly, beautiful content creator, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, that was because Tyler was like, you need to get a new camera. Get a better mic. He was on my case about it. I was like, okay. So I finally listened. And I'm so glad I did, because it's so good. I'm so happy with this.
It's one of those things. It is literally an investment in yourself, an investment in your craft, if this is what you want to do. And I am super glad you did it, because you are killing it lately.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I've just been going for it. I haven't stopped this year. This year has been intense.
Well,
and I'm glad that the numbers reflect that. They're starting to reflect that now. It feels good.
Awesome. Because earlier when we talked to you, you were still, I feel like, just getting Lola Viscera kind of like geared up, and you were starting to get traction, but it wasn't fully going yet.
No, I was working my way through Shadowban land, actually, at the time that I met you. But I wasn't that focused on that account, to be honest, at that time. I wasn't thinking about growing it, so it was like, it was okay if I got banned every now and then. But then when I wanted to grow it, I was like, okay, I want to hit 1,000, and then I want to hit 5K, and then you think you just need to play within the rules then, and that means that you have to be a bit safe with what you put up.
I don't know. Whenever your stuff pops up on my Instagram feed, I'm still just like,
you and I need to collab still.
We do. And I have a few ideas for the next one, but I do not know how you circumvent constantly just getting.
I know what you're talking about.
Instagram.
That's you might irritate the censor gods if you show that.
It is so in the gray area and constantly walking the edge that I don't even know if I can actually show your Instagram profile.
Yeah, right now it's a bit spicy. You might want to close your eyes.
So, okay, I put Lola's Instagram link and her YouTube link. We're going to talk about her YouTube channel, but I put both her links in the chat. You guys need to go look at the stuff she's been making, especially centered around geoducks. I don't know what a geoduck
gooey ducks.
Gooey ducks. What is it?
What is a gooey duck? I can't believe we're talking about this. You said no gooey ducks. A gooey duck is a type of clam, which is, what was I've forgotten the biological words, but it's like a bisymmetrical clam or something. I'm probably butchering it. And it's got this, let me think of the words that I can use that it's it's got like this appendage thing that comes out of it.
The
It's got this
tongue.
long.
It's the tongue, right?
That's not. No, it's not a tongue. It's like an organ, and its defense mechanism is that it will shoot sperm and eggs at the predator's eyes and then confuse them, and that's how it survives.
That's the defense mechanism.
And it's absolutely massive and apparently really tasty. You can eat it like sashimi.
Well,
So that's what we're exploring nature.
well, they are definitely exploring nature over on her Instagram page. So you guys should go check it out because
Yeah.
if anything, looking at Lola's page will show you that you can walk that line and still make stuff happen.
Do you know, I think this is part of the fun for it, the fun right now of doing that, because it's like, okay, what can we put out that is kind of, oh, but I have had posts removed quite recently that are not I don't think they're provocative, and they got removed. So it's just, yeah, it's kind of fun. It's like, oh, what can we put up, and it stays up.
Well,
and keep our accounts green.
I really do feel like it's also it depends on a couple of things, especially on Insta. It can be a bit random depending on what the AI algorithm god that's watching over us all deems as worthy and not worthy, or safe and unsafe. And it can also depend on whether or not some random person just happened to see that post that decided to report it.
Yeah, that's what happened with one of mine, I think. And then I didn't have the option to appeal it. But yeah, so anyway, Instagram is the way that it is. And I think we're just doing what we can at the moment to just keep putting stuff out. Like we were talking about just before we started the stream, is to keep doing what makes us laugh and what makes us, it fulfills that creative urge, scratches that itch. And then also have our accounts keep growing. But it's balancing. It's balancing it, because you have to put out what people want to see, but also you might not always want to do what people want to see. So it's a fine line.
And I feel like at some point after you reach the point where you finally get growth and kind of like the momentum that you were initially looking for with the stuff that you were at that time having fun making.
Yeah.
The trap with all this that I think we're all learning how to navigate right now is, okay, people followed me for this specific thing that they saw, but I don't always want to do that thing. So where's the, how do we balance this? I think that's a question that we're all trying to figure out how to answer at the moment.
Yeah. The other way to think about that is to put up lots of different profiles, but then it's a lot of management then managing all these different profiles. Oh, thank you.
So, okay, what I want to definitely bring up early and give you space to talk about, because I know it is where you want to grow the most and have the most focus right now, is your YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yes. I started that. When did I start that? About a month ago? I started a month ago, I think. Wow. And yeah, it's exploded. It feels like it's exploded. I had one viral short. We made a reel, the Mountains of Madness reel with Chris Penner and Insert Title 99. And on YouTube, it blew up. And that has brought a lot of traffic through to my YouTube. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Like, I like psychology and nature and evolution and how we think. I love all that stuff. And I thought, hey, I like talking about it. I like making artwork around it. I like stories and morals. And why don't we put it all together? And I'm kind of figuring out as I go along, which if you search Lola Viscera on YouTube, it will come up on the homepage and show no videos, because I don't know how to make it show the videos on the homepage yet. So I'm still figuring out as I go along. But I reached a huge milestone this week, which is I got monetized on there already. So I'm doing something right. Yeah, I'm learning. That's the main thing that I want to continue to always do.
So it only took you a month to get monetized, or what?
Yeah.
Like 2 months? Yeah.
I think it was a month.
So it took you a month and 8-10 10 videos on YouTube to get to monetization, which is pretty good.
Way ahead of what I thought. Yeah. So, but again, it's, yeah, I don't want to like jump ahead, but the comments on YouTube, for some reason, affect me more than the comments on Instagram. And I think that's because I've been on Instagram for so much longer than I've been on YouTube. And now it's like, oh, it's a room full of people that don't know yet.
I mean, I also think because on YouTube, you're making videos that are 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 22 minutes. It probably does feel a lot more personal.
Yeah.
On YouTube, and you're putting a lot more of yourself into the videos, whereas like, Instagram, 12 seconds, 20 seconds, here's a thing that shock value, and then they swipe past it. YouTube, if someone's watching it, they're really watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. I want it to be more immersive. At the same time, it's like, oh, these people are saying things. Yeah, but it's very new to me. Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking out loud here.
So what do you think? Because like you said, when you first came on here, you had about 400 followers. Now you're at 10.6 and you have almost 2,000 on YouTube. For someone watching that is also doing this with AI and trying to grow with AI, and they haven't quite had success with it yet, what do you think are some key things that really played a factor in you being able to climb relatively quickly?
Okay, I would say it's different strategies for YouTube and Instagram. On Instagram, definitely, it's social media. It's not put your stuff out and ignore it media. You do have to engage with people. Comment on other people's stuff. I don't know that DMing is a thing that you should do straight out don't just slide into people's DMs. People won't probably see them. Build a relationship. Like when you meet somebody that you like what they've done, then put a comment on there that's constructive and positive, and keep popping up in their notifications. Once you build that visibility, then, you might be able to have a conversation. And then one of the biggest things that helped me was collaborations with accounts that are bigger than yours. But I will say that please do not DM people your own reel and say, watch my stuff. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. And it's, just don't do that. Build a relationship through comments and, I would say get started that way. And also already be doing your own thing before messaging people, and like your page is your portfolio. If you've got nothing on there and you're trying to message people to like help me do this, they won't, there's a lot of messages that are received every day from that kind of, that kind of start, and it won't help you. So if you've already shown that you're passionate about what you're doing, that you're trying, that you're a positive influence in the community, then that will help you a lot. It will go a long way. I think because social media it can be quite shallow. Finding that depth of connection is quite rare and quite sought after. That hasn't changed. That is what we want at the end of the day beneath it all. So if you can hit that note, then that will go a long way. And showing gratitude. I think that's so key.
I agree with all of that, especially the collaboration part. I think a lot of people get stuck trying to do it all on their own when they probably don't have to. But I also think the way you approach people and the way you talk to people plays a really big role in like how much that desire to collaborate is actually received on the other end. Like I get DM'd from people that want to collaborate that just like it, just the way they asked me is like I'm super busy. I'm not going to reply to someone that like the base level of it is like bare, like not even the minimum level of just like respect. And it's just really views.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I get that. A lot of this audience might already know, but I have another account which is, I think it's a 43 now, 43,000, and there's so many requests. I actually got to the point where I just turned it off now. Like people who I don't know can't just DM me now because there's so many requests that come in like that. Like it literally starts off with, "Can you help me?" And it's like, and they've got nothing on their page, and it's like no reason, it's like, don't do that. Already be doing it. Like show that you already have a portfolio and you want to get better.
So okay. On that note, on the collaboration note, how did remind everyone again who this? I mean, at this point, you guys are like your own little collective too, because you have like a small group of people that you regularly collaborate with, and you all have kind of gravitated towards this very surreal, horrifying yet intriguing to look at style, which fortunately for you, these tools are very, very good at.
It's perfect, right? This tool has come at such a perfect time for me. It's like, I'm all over this. That was the other thing about collaborations is it needs to be in the same kind of niche as what you're doing. Like that other account is anime type stuff, so I would collab with people who do anime stuff. I'm not gonna like reach out to somebody who does horror from that account because that makes no sense. Like the audience is a different audience, so make sure that you have a similar kind of audience who are looking for the same kind of things. I have a collaboration coming out this week, or I hope it's going to come out this weekend. I don't want to drop any dates because it's like I don't want to do an Elon Musk where I say things and it slips. But coming soon is another collaboration with Curse Jenny. Last I looked at his account, he was at 666,000.
Curse Journey stuff is awesome. I love his page.
Yeah, he's a really decent guy as well. And I found that he's got a great sense of humor, which works really well in social media. And it's just fun to work with people like that. And we have a crossover of audience. In Civitai 99 as well, we have some crossover. I'm trying to push him to do more horror stuff because he's so good at it. I want to see more of that. Who else? Chris Perner as well. He's got a lot of horror stuff. He's in the same kind of niche. So, yeah, it's nice to find people that you just get along with. I think that's the most rewarding thing about this whole thing. Because, people say that AI, you can just make a whole film just one person. But it's like, yeah, but it's still nice to, have conversations and make cool stuff with people.
I mean, I think the part of that conversation that a lot of people that are anti-AI miss because fortunately, not everything is black and white the way that social media and people on social media would have you believe. I mean, we all know that. And there are nuances to making really great work, no matter what the tool is. And those nuances usually involve some sort of team and some sort of collaboration and people playing their part to bring the bigger vision together.
Yeah. Yeah. That collab with Chris Perner, he could have used an AI voice for that. But he really wanted my voice. And we even had professional voice actors that we could have used as well. But he was like, no, I want Lola's voice.
There's no reason why you should be hiring a voice actor for anything unless you need a male and one of the other guys won't do it or can't do it. Like, you should be voicing as much of your stuff as possible because if you weren't doing this, that's honestly what you should be doing.
Thank you. That's so bizarre. I would have never thought that. Even a year ago, I would have never thought that.
We have a question that I just put on screen right there. If you want to go ahead and take that.
Should I? Okay. I would like to know from Lola was what? I would like to know from Lola was always into horror gore ever since she was young. Most young women are not into horror or gore type movies. That's a great question. Yes. Yes. I spent a lot of time in the garden with insects. That was like my favorite thing to do. You could just leave me in the garden with earthworms all day and mud and grime, and I would just be staring at ants. And I just think that's so cool. Yeah, I like the way they move. It's a completely alien world. Imagine a giant ant or like a giant earthworm. It'd be so weird. That's the kind of thing that I think about. So yeah, I've always been into this. I like mixing different animals together. I think we spoke about this in the last stream, which is why I like anatomy. And isn't it weird? Isn't having a body really weird if you think about it?
I feel like this is a conversation you would have when you were high.
Yeah.
Isn't this? What are our bodies?
I've had these moments where I've woken up half asleep and I look at my hand and I'm like, is this? I'm in this meat vehicle. So yeah, that's what I think about. Yeah.
But okay, being out in the garden and looking at that type of stuff. But were you also very, very drawn to horror movies?
Horror movies, yeah. As long as I can remember, I like psychological horror. Like, I'm not into sort of the jump. Is that what it's called? Like the jump horror, the jump scare.
The cheap ones.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I like the slow build-ups and like, oh, we don't know what's over there, and or when people start to go crazy and lose their minds, or those little kids with massive mouths. That kind of thing creeps me out. The Exorcist, Silent Hill. Yes.
Here, I saw a question.
Sour thoughts,
right?
Yeah.
I saw a question right here that I actually would like to answer. How would you recommend to approach someone to do a collaboration, and how does it work? So for me personally, because I have been reaching out to people, like I reach out to people regardless of how big or small their account is. Yeah. I reached out to Lola initially to do a collaboration with her. And at the time, I think I was at was I at 100 yet, or was I not quite there?
No, you were over 100.
I was over 100.
And
Lola was at like 400 to 600 in that range. But one of my AI friends, Pookie Num Num, shout out to Pookie.
Is he here?
No, he is not in here. But Pookie showed me Lola's page. I was like, this is awesome. And so I DM'd her and I said, hey, I love your stuff. I don't know what we could do to like make it make sense, but if you're open to collaborate, we could find a way to blend the two things that we do. And what that ended up looking like for us was Lola made a whole bunch of reference imagery in the style that she is very good at, that my brain doesn't go there when making images. So I would never make the type of pictures that Lola makes. And I used her reference imagery to drive the animate diff animations that I made. And we did a series of 3 for the entire week, and it made sense. But you have to find a way with the person you want to collaborate with to like have a back and forth. So it's not just like the person with the large account is like making this thing and then you're just benefiting from it.
Yes, have something to offer. And like you said, I already had a portfolio up that you could see. Like it wasn't just a blank account.
Yeah. So wait, coming back to this, someone asked if someone asked if you looked at the bugs with magnifying glasses or microscopes, or if it was just you looking at the bugs.
Yeah, both. If I had a magnifying glass, oh yeah. But I would usually just pick it up and look at it in my hand. I like feeling it. Oh, give me a snail, let it crawl over my hand and poke its eyes. And the eyes go back in.
So, but you were making stuff similar to this even before AI, right? Like you were already making like character designs, right?
Oh, do you know what? I think I might share some of that. I won't look for it now because my hard drives are a mess. But yeah, I've always been drawing. I've always studied anatomy. Yeah.
How much of what you do, so like the images that people look at on your Instagram, how much of it is coming straight from prompting versus how much of it are you including reference imagery for the prompt to also pull from?
I'm doing exactly 0 references at the moment. It's all prompting.
So this is all prompting.
Yeah. What I do, so if I want like a chicken breast texture, which is fleshy and translucent and wet and a little bit slimy, then I'll make a chicken breast texture and I'll use that as a reference image, input it back into Midjourney and build on top of that. Or if I want tentacles with a chicken breast texture, then I'll mix those 2 images and do it that way. But I'm not doing photographs or drawings or anything just yet.
Well, in that case, I think everyone respects it even more because I would have guessed you were at least feeding some type of reference into it.
Interesting. Yeah, there was an artist I was speaking to, Thierry Lancer or something. He does like anime houses and he uses photographs of flowers as textures for his houses. And what he does, it looks absolutely incredible. So high resolution. So I'm familiar with the technique. I just haven't explored that.
Well, here's a good one. How do you balance your day job with your AI work?
This is my day job.
That's so easy answer.
Yeah. And okay, let me tell you something. Going from the last time I had a job was, I don't know, it's like 20 years ago. Yeah, last time I worked for somebody else was probably that long ago. And you kind of go from working a 9 to 5 to working a 24/7. You just don't ever sleep. Yeah.
It's about the same for me.
It is, right.
Okay, I work full time for Civitai, but even this I would consider an out of the ordinary job, especially since it's remote and it's in AI. The last job, what people would consider a day job that I had was back in 2016 or 2015.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I could go back to the life. It's just not for me. I like my freedom way too much.
It's one of those things, right? Where it's once you get the taste of kind of not being under that type of you can't imagine going back to it. And I always say now that before I have to go back to working what most people consider a normal 9 to 5, I will be in a hole of bad decisions trying to find every way to claw myself out of it before I have to go back to doing that, because I feel like at this point in that regard, I'm terminally unemployable.
Yeah, that's the word, unemployable, because I think that's part of what drives me so much to go all in and do this, especially YouTube, because I've seen people have a lot of success from it. And it's if it's a formula that you can follow, and it's just a case of just doing it. And if you've got that fire up your bum, then it does help.
I mean, sometimes it's one of those things that you're all in on what you're doing right now. You spent the money, you bought the setup, you said, I'm doing this. So now you have no option but to do it.
Yeah, burnt the boats. Is that the right word? Yeah.
Burn the bridges. Burn the bridge. Yep. Burn the bridge behind you, or something.
Burn the ships. Basically, there's no going back now.
There's no going back.
I feel like everything in my life has geared up to this moment that AI exists. There's no other option.
I feel like that's how it should feel. But also, too, it's important to understand that even if you're doing something you love every day, there is still a point where it does become work. You can love what you do and still want a day off from it.
Do you feel that way? you read Rick Rubin's book.
Yes.
What's it called?
I've listened to the whole
The
thing, and it is.
What's it called? Let's talk about it for the viewers.
The Creative Act.
Creative Act. Such a great book. He talks about, highly recommended. If you're creative, you need this needs to be in your library. He talks about this where he will, once he's done his creative thing, he will step away from it and he will not think about it. He just switches off from it and takes a break. That's definitely something I need to work on because my mind just doesn't switch off from it right now. But I think that will help to make things move faster, maybe. It just feels so obsessive right now.
I find that switching off and going and doing something completely unrelated, where like, even if it's just something as simple as like going to the gym or something where I'm like removed from it and I'm not actively thinking about it or thinking about like the next project or the work I have to do or whatever is involved in this right here. When I switch off from it is often when a new idea will just kind of subconsciously just like kind of pop in. Whereas if I'm sitting here and I'm hunting for the idea, there's none to be found.
Yeah, that's what somebody said earlier about shower thoughts. That's what shower thoughts are, because you're not thinking about the thing you're trying to work on. You allow your subconscious mind to be like, here is an idea.
Nice one, Dever. Nice.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of the thoughts that we have are repetitive thoughts. So we need to be aware of that.
And I do like
meditation is important. I think meditation training is fundamental. I
like that right there. When you do this, it's like you're looking at your own art from the outside, and it is good. I think too often we get caught up in being so close to the stuff that we make that like you need to remove yourself to get the bigger picture again.
I think that's certainly true. Like when I come back from training and look at something that I've done a week ago, I'm like, oh, actually, I was going back through my Midjourney history earlier, and it's like, wow, I've made so many amazing pieces that I never put out because I didn't think it was good enough at the time. It's only when you step back and you look at it a few months later, you're like, oh, why didn't I put... Now I can animate it. I can make it high resolution. You can in-paint bits of it now. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how that happens? How like the stuff that that months ago, a year ago, at the time we were like, this is trash.
Yeah.
As we're going back and looking at our old folders, because I do this too, I'll see something, I'll be like, why did I think this was bad or this wasn't post-worthy before? Like, I really like this. But at the time, I was so in it that like like your vision gets skewed from what you're actually looking at.
Yeah. This is like, it kind of is related, but you know when you're really close to a painting and you can't see it properly, you just see like an oil painting, you're really close to it and you just see mess, like brush strokes, and it's just messy. You think, oh, this is garbage. But when you take a step back, it's like, wow, this makes sense. This beautiful painting. Maybe it's like that. It's like when you get really close to a person and you're just around them all the time and you think, oh, I see all these flaws. But when you step back, you're like, oh, they're beautiful. It's like that.
I think distance makes the heart grow fonder applies to art as well.
Yeah. Spot on.
No, but I think that's just like a healthy part of the process when you decide to do the thing that, whatever the thing is that you love as a living, like you need to also have another thing to step back from it so that you can kind of refocus your appreciation for it.
Yeah. It's where I admire people that play instruments as well, or have, another skill, or like martial artists, they're really good at another form of art as well, because it's not the same bucket. It's something else that they complement each other.
I feel like you also need to have, you need to go through experiences to then bring back into the stuff you're making.
Yeah. This is something I wanted to talk about on our last stream, actually, is building our reference library. So when we travel or go to different places, or in our walks or other things that we do, we can then bring that back to our art. And that's why it's important to have lots of experiences and build that reference library.
I definitely agree. And I think that that's something that, especially in this very digital time when it's all right here, can go overlooked.
This is when you go to a restaurant or a cafe or something and everyone's on their phone. It's like, you could experience the world so much more different if you just look up and look around.
Does this feel like a conversation two people that make AI art would be having?
Who's in the audience?
No, I mean, this feels more like what people consider like a traditional artist conversation, but it's like here we are echoing the same things that people that sit down and paint probably talk about as well. So no, I think that's interesting, because I've also been seeing more and more stuff pop up on my feed of, the traditional people being more and more enraged by everything.
Have you been seeing more of that? What's your... Yes. Okay, interesting. That means better reach, right? How do you deal with that?
You mean when it's directed towards me?
Yeah. So, okay, when it's... Two questions. Let me turn this back on you. When it's directed towards you, Tyler, and when it's directed towards the art, like, does it feel the same to you, or do you differentiate? Does it feel different? Does it feel different to you in your experience?
I have to constantly remind myself that the people who have the most to say about it usually are saying what they're saying with having like the most minuscule frame of reference they could possibly have. They don't know anything about the process. They don't know anything about the tools. They don't know, and they plant their feet and they become absolute in their feelings about all these things they don't know. So if they don't know, why should I let that bother me? Right. And I have to constantly remind myself, because it's easy to say it and then you read a comment in the moment and you're having you had a long day, or you're overwhelmed by all the things you're doing, and you see one thing that someone says, and all of a sudden the armor that's usually there, they find the chink in it with some stupid comment that shouldn't mean anything.
Right.
And so, no, but how I deal with it sometimes is I will sit there, I will write out exactly what I want to say back to them, and then I'll erase it.
Delete it.
Before I hit send, I'll erase it. Because just even the act of like writing it out and like writing out the reply and just getting the words
out
makes me feel better, because then I'll look at it and I'll remind myself, sending this will literally do nothing to help me push any of my stuff forward. And then I boom. I mean, every now and then I'll hit them with a little zinger back if the opportunity is there, or if there's the right GIF and the opportunity presents itself to be a smart ass. But
yeah. Because I was saying to you, I don't know if I said it on the stream yet, but that's dealing with it on YouTube feels different to me than Instagram does, because I've been on Instagram for so long, it feels like. But over there, it's like, it feels really personal, because they're like, everything's great except your voice. And it's like, I can't do anything about yeah. And it's like, it feels really personal. So it's like a different kind of hate over there. So it's like another thing that I'm navigating. I'm trying to just, now right now, I'm trying to just ignore as much of it as I can and just focus on, because I have so much content that I already have planned to get out, that I just want to stay focused on that and trying to not look at any hate right now. But I will have my moments where I'm just like, I feel like I'm on fire and I just want to go through all these comments and like say something funny back to all of them. And I'll just do that in an hour. It's like, I am rubber, you are glue to all these haters. But yeah, I have to be in the mood for that, because I'm still a person. It does get to me sometimes. Like, I do read everything.
It is a very slippery slope once you start replying to those things, though.
It can be, yeah, because they have a lot of time on their hands.
Definitely. And I have found that the type of person that would write something like negative or hurtful on something that someone created, instead of just like swiping past it,
Yeah.
they are usually the type of person that they need to get the last word. So then it turns into this like extended thing that just doesn't have to exist.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So it's kind of like I have a split personality when it comes to dealing with that.
So wait, I want to read what Dude wrote, because I feel like this might deserve a little bit of a discussion. So I have a bit of experience in AI, and I am concerned that its effects on a developing mind might limit creativity. AI gives you an answer of what a smuffaluffagus is, when you might have created something with more depth without direction. That is actually an interesting take, and something that I think can be talked about. Like, so say from the frame of reference, a kid who's probably like 15 or 16 who now has access to Midjourney, going through those kind of formable years where they're finding their creativity, even though I didn't find my creativity till like my mid-20s, really. But yeah, no, I understand what he's saying. Maybe I feel like it allows me to be more creative, because I already feel like by the time I found all this stuff, I had developed my taste.
Well,
What if you don't have taste yet?
yeah, what creativity comes in different forms. I always think that it's a tool. It's another, like, we don't know how young minds will use this technology. We can only project our own experiences and what we were doing at that age, which is when did the Nokia phones come out at that age? I think, like, we didn't even have touchscreen phones.
When everyone had the Nokia phones and they were changing the battery lights on them? So was that a thing
the
where
LEDs?
you lived? Yeah.
I remember the cases that you can get. You can change them. Is that what you mean? And then they had like
where
flashing
I lived,
cases.
Yeah. So it was like the kind of taller Nokia phone, and you could change the case of the battery so that when it rang, the LED lights went crazy.
That was so fun. Like, every time a new phone came out, it was the best thing ever. If I could feel that level of joy now about anything. But it's a whole different world for people at that age. And I think they're going to do something with this that we don't know. Like, we don't, yeah. I think we can be guilty of projecting our own, what we feel about things onto the younger generation. We need to be a bit careful of that and trust the human race to do something profound with it, something good. And also, like, not abuse the AI now, because it's going to remember that, isn't it?
So I would agree with this right there, that creativity is regained by most at an adult age. Kids are full of creativity until parents, schools, and jobs suffocate it. I would agree with that.
Like, push you into a box. Yeah. Holding on to that childlike spirit. I always find that when my creativity feels a bit dry, I'll always think back to what made me happy as a kid. And that was bugs and gross things.
And
No,
which is funny because now it's like that thing that maybe other kids might have called you weird or might have laughed at you for liking or would have teased you for. That thing is now what drives the thing that people are drawn to you about.
Yeah, that thing that makes you unique. I think we need to hone in on that, and that can be really scary because we want to fit in and we want to, we want people to like us and accept us. And if we do something that doesn't fit in, it's like, oh, they're not going to accept me. But that is the thing that makes you stand out and unique.
I do
explore that more.
I do think that probably one of the better things about social media, since it's easy to say all the negative ways that it has affected all of us, is that more people are probably more comfortable sitting in their thing now and putting their thing out there than they ever were before.
Yeah. Gary Vee, he spoke about this a few years ago. He's like, you think that people are, if you record something, this is one of the things that motivated me to get on camera, because at the end of the day, no one cares. Like you're going to put something on YouTube and you think that people are going to no one cares. Everyone's got their own thing that they're doing, and they have their own problems and their own lives and their own things that they're excited about, and their own birthdays, and people getting born and people dying and stuff. There's so much going on in people's lives. Nobody cares. So you may as well do it. You may as well put your stuff out there. You may as well do the thing that makes you weird. And there's going to be people that are going to connect with it.
So that's something that I think I definitely always have to remind myself and come back to when I feel like, do I want to put this out? Is this up to standards or whatever? Like literally the stuff we do and the stuff we make to other people is going to be a flash in the pan of their day, that unless on the rare occasion it's something that like emotionally resonates with someone, like, I have a handful of songs or videos that even after years, I'll occasionally go back to when a certain like emotion comes up in me, or I want to like recall a memory. But most things that we encounter are just like, everyone is so wrapped up in their story that, yeah, we can be empathetic and we can care about other people, but ultimately we're all trying to write our book and not read everyone else's.
Yeah. And what the most profound moments that I found in doing what I want to do, I just want to do what I want to do, is that there are people that are like, oh, someone left me a comment the other day on YouTube that really it touched my heart, because it was about a video that I did called The Harvesters, and it's about these like grotesque little creatures. That's your word, grotesque. That like they become sentient and they discover they were just made to serve humans. And one day they woke up and they realized that they're in these like horrible bodies. And someone messaged me on there. She left a comment saying that she had that same feeling when she was a teenager. And she watched that video on repeat. I was like, oh, people are hearing something that I'm expressing through this thing that I've made. This person that I've never met is connecting with something. Like it's brought out something in her. And you just never know who you're going to speak to by bringing a piece of yourself out.
I mean, I do also think a big part of that, and a reason why you should put your stuff out there, is that even if they won't admit it, people are always looking for a way through the stuff they see and like the stuff that they take in to relate it to themselves. Cause it's like, we want to feel like we're not alone, even if we feel lonely sometimes. Right.
Yeah.
And the stuff on the internet and stuff we watch and content, for lack of a better word, art, helps us kind of fill that connection and feel understood like this person that I've never met made this thing that for whatever reason completely explains the way I feel right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, you'd be surprised. A lot of people aren't, like, they don't know that they feel this thing. They just feel a certain way, but then they don't know what that feeling is until they see something or hear something that helps them to feel that emotion, and it comes to the surface. And I think that's profound about what we do.
So right there, what would you say are the themes that are the most kind of like what's the through all this grotesque stuff that you make, what's the underlying theme or themes that you tend to explore the most through the stories that you're trying to tell with it?
Oh, there's so many. I suppose it's a way for me to deal with all my trauma publicly. My granddad, he passed away about 20 years ago, a long time ago now. And he would read me stories, and he would always ask me at the end of it, so what's the moral of the story? He would ask me as a child, like, what's the moral of the story? And get me to think about it and take a lesson from it. And I thought, well, there's so many lessons that I've learned along my journey that I think I want to make art around. And I think this just kind of fits together. Like these creatures, they all have a story. They all kind of don't fit in. They're all kind of like ugly, but still kind of beautiful in a strange kind of way. And I guess that kind of makes that I can relate to that, because that's how I felt as a child growing up in school. Well, this is like a therapy session. Yeah, so it's just an expression of myself and my own experiences, all the hurt that I've experienced, all the joys. It's a way to package it all and put it into stories that I can put out in little pieces, and people hopefully enjoy them. If not, it's okay. Just, you don't have to watch.
Which one of your videos on YouTube do you think would be the most friendly if we were to put it on right now? Or like
the Q&A for sure.
Not that one, because I'm talking about something we could show to everyone right now who hasn't seen your stuff.
Oh, let me.
Would it be a dark, seductive tale, a heartwarming short?
Not that one.
Would it be Gus Puss, or would it be Freaky Steve?
Oh, I would say Freaky Steve.
Freaky Steve. Do you guys want to see, or The Harvesters?
Harvesters is, I cried in that one. I would watch that in your own time. But I would say I would say Freaky Steve is the most related.
Okay. Well, that we're gonna show everyone Freaky Steve right now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. So let me put my screen on here. Boom. Boom. Share. I command you. All right. And let me make sure I got the volume thingy open so that you guys can hear it. Because we got a little while left. There's no real time limit on this today, but I want to show people one of your things while you are here to maybe talk about it. So, and also we want people to see your YouTube channel. So, okay, can you guys hear that? Could you guys hear? No? You guys didn't hear when she said Freaky Steve? Wait 1 second. No, you guys aren't hearing that? Oh, I know. Derp. I need to open it up in Safari. Safari is the one that plays the volume. I always forget that. Sorry, guys.
Freaky Steve.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Now we're good. Okay. So, we're gonna watch this real quick, and then we're gonna chat about it. Boom.
a horrific discovery. So I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, not really looking for anything in particular, and suddenly there it was, a picture of your ex, smiling and laughing, holding hands with this new guy, Steve, right? Yeah, I've seen him around, but here's the thing. Steve's not any regular guy. At first, I didn't think much of it. Just glanced at the photo and thought, okay, sure, good for them. But something kept pulling me back. I scrolled back to the photo, zoomed in, and well, that's when I realized something was really wrong. Steve's skin, pale, slick, almost wet. It had this strange sheen to it, like it had been dunked in oil or something. And then I noticed his eyes. God, his eyes. They weren't just on his face, no. There were eyes on his scalp, peeling out from beneath his hair, clustered near his temples, even embedded in the folds of his neck. Some of them were bigger than others, bulging and bloodshot, while some were smaller, still growing, I think. And every single one of them was looking in a different direction. It was like he was seeing everything at once. I couldn't stop staring. I mean, how could you not notice that? How had you not noticed? I scrolled through more of their pictures. There they were at the beach, Steve's jelly-like body shining in the sun, looking more slimy the longer I stared. And then there was the dinner pic. Steve smiling, his thin lips curling back to reveal rows of teeth that didn't quite fit on his face. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, all I could see was Steve. And those eyes blinking, darting around, watching me in the dark. I was obsessed. I messaged a friend we both know, just to ask, hey, have you met Steve? What's the deal with him? They replied instantly. Yeah, Steve's awesome. He's a bit different, but honestly, a super nice guy. Why? Nice guy. That's always how it starts, isn't it? A few days later, I got a message from your ex. They wanted to grab coffee and catch up. I mean, sure, why not? I needed to know more about Steve anyway. So we met up. And after some awkward small talk, I asked the obvious question. So, how's Steve? Their face lit up. Oh, Steve's great. He's unique. I tried to laugh it off. Yeah, I noticed. He's got a lot of personality. For just a second, I saw something flicker across their face. Was it doubt? Fear? But then it passed. Yeah, he's special. You wouldn't understand. Special? No, I definitely didn't understand. So I pushed a bit. Doesn't it freak you out? Even a little? I mean, the eyes. The way he looks. And then they leaned in close, whispering, Steve's different, but you don't get it. He takes care of me. He understands me in ways no one else ever did. There was this weird intensity in their voice, like they were under a spell or something. I tried to shrug it off, but something felt really wrong. As I left the cafe, I felt it, like something was watching me. I turned, and there he was, Steve, standing across the street, completely still, just staring. Every single one of his eyes was wide open, watching me. His lips twitched into this half smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. Not the main ones, at least. I ran home and locked every door, but the images wouldn't stop. Steve's slick, shiny skin, those eyes, all those eyes. I didn't sleep again that night. And when I finally did, I dreamed of him. I was in this room, and the walls were covered in flesh. And from every surface, eyes, they blinked in unison, and all I could feel were them watching me, judging me. Somewhere in the distance, I heard your ex's voice, but it was faint, like they were far away, calling for help. The next morning, I woke up to a text from them. Stop asking about Steve. That was it. Nothing else. Just a warning. Weeks passed, and every now and then I see them around, always together. They seemed happy, but There was something vacant about them now. Steve, he never acknowledged me, but I knew he saw me. I could feel those eyes on me, always watching. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know what was going on, so I waited outside their apartment, hidden in the shadows. Sure enough, they appeared. Your ex walked out first, slow, robotic almost. Then Steve. He moved with this strange grace like his body was melting, but he didn't care. I called out. They turned, and for a brief second I saw it. Their eyes. They weren't their own anymore. They were his. That's when I realized Steve wasn't just some freak with too many eyes. He was the eyes. They were spreading across your ex's skin, consuming them, watching from every angle. Steve wasn't their boyfriend. He was their puppet master. I ran. I didn't look back. And I haven't seen them since. Moral of the story. Sometimes the monsters in our lives don't hide under the bed or in the closet. Sometimes they're in the people we let into our hearts. Slowly, silently, taking control until they're all that's left.
Ooh.
Wow.
How long did it take you to write that?
Well, I have a process where I use ChatGPT. So I think each one takes about a day. Lots of
Awesome.
prompts.
Awesome. Well, the fact that that was probably like, what was that? Like your second or third longer YouTube video?
Yeah, I hadn't done many by then.
Yeah. So, and your stuff is only getting better. So,
Yeah, I each one I want to make something better about it, whether it's like the sound quality or the animations or the design of the creatures, the story, the structure of it. I always want to make something better about each one.
well, lucky for you, all these things that we use to make these things keep getting better. And when that came out, was it really only Runway that you were using?
No, it was Kling.
That was like that was the first iteration of Kling.
Yeah, I think the recent ones, I've already done 2, I think, with the recent 1.5. Actually, I just want to, while we're on here, the short horror film AI 4K, which is the Mountains of Madness trailer. I don't know if you want to bring that up.
What's it called?
Short horror film AI 4K. It's the vertical one.
Gotcha. Okay. While I'm pulling that up, you wanna answer that question that's on the screen?
Amazing work. Do your images inspire the writing or other way around? The images inspire the writing, yes. And if I'm in the mood for something dark, then I'll push the AI towards like a darker narrative and then sculpt it like clay. I'll sculpt the story like clay. Usually it's the images that inspire the narrative. Yeah, because I want to know the story behind the creature. Like, why does it look like that? Like Freaky Steve. His eyeballs. It's like they're almost like a parasitic creature, and they've taken over this body that is now Steve, and now Steve's taking over your ex-girlfriend. But your ex-girlfriend doesn't think anything of it. She's like, oh, I like Steve, because she's already got that parasite in him. So I just love that kind of darkness, because that's what happens. That's what happens in nature. I think it's fascinating to explore it.
So okay, tell us one more time what's this thing that we're gonna look at right here?
Short horror film AI 4K. This is the collaboration that I did with Chris Perner and Insert Turtle 99 on Instagram. Check it out, and it's gone absolutely viral. And
cool.
we're gonna.
before we wrap up here, I'll make sure that we share both insert title and Chris Perna's Instagram links as well for everyone.
Cool. Yes.
Okay, let's see this.
We made a mistake. We set out in search of answers. There was so much we didn't know. Mountains untouched by time. Strange symbols etched into stone. Creatures that shouldn't exist. That's when we found it. Hidden within the glaciers. Shrouded in ice and snow. As we ventured deeper, the line between reality and madness blurred. We found a gateway that led us to a place beyond comprehension. Shadows moved with a life of their own. We wanted to understand, but we went too far. Terrible things happened. One by one, my team began to vanish. Darkness everywhere. Now only silence surrounds us.
Awesome. Awesome.
We are coming out with a longer version of that. Ooh, highly requested.
So who did what there? How was that collaboration kind of broken up?
Chris did the direction. Insert Title did a lot of the creatures and their labs, and I did some of the creatures and the VO and the writing, and then Chris edited it all together, and that's how we did it.
Awesome. Let me real quickly grab both Chris and Insert Title's Instagrams so I can share them with everyone so they can follow them. And those are both people that I would also like to get on the stream as well. So, guys, here is the link to Insert Title's Instagram. Make sure you go give him a follow. And then also Chris Perna always has some really, really crazy stuff going on. There is him. And then also for good measure, since we brought him up as well, and I've also had, I've also talked to him and had good interactions with him. We will also share Curse Journeys.
Curse Journey, yeah.
So there are 3 new AI horror creators for you guys to check out and follow. If you want more of this type of stuff, which I feel like these tools are so good at bringing this stuff to life.
Yeah. And the animation is improving, which is exciting for me.
Very, very, very exciting. So Lola, any last words here? Anything that you would like to say to the folks watching, or just like in general?
In general, well, since I put up a video recently with the 10K Q&A, and I think that is something I would like to explore more. So if you have questions, then drop them into those videos, and then I will try and address them, like when I reach these milestones. Anything that you have on your mind that you want to know, drop them in the comments, and I can do a video about them. Keep your peepers peeled, because we're coming out with a 16:9 version of that trailer coming soon, because I don't want to give a date. But it's coming very soon. The 16:9 version of that trailer, a longer version with Chris Perna. So very excited for that.
Awesome. Well, guys, I'm putting Lola's Instagram and her YouTube link in the chat one more time. Please go give her a follow on both of those. And we will definitely have to circle back with you as things continue to go your way and blow up, because they definitely are.
Yeah, always happy to come on. I love these. Really enjoy them. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. No, Lola, thank you so much. And yeah, man, I think that's going to wrap it up for us today, guys. This was really fun. I had a lot of fun talking about all the things we talked about. I think we ended up with some very insightful conversations that hopefully people enjoyed listening to. I think talking about this stuff is the other side of everything we do, that in favor of sometimes the more technical things can go overlooked, but it's equally as important in creating good work, is thinking about it like this and kind of like exploring the thoughts and the emotions we all go through and how we deal with the things that we come across as we're putting the stuff that we make out there for everyone to see and judge.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, guys, look, my name is Tyler, better known as jbugs.creative. This is Lola Viscera. Make sure you go follow her on Instagram and YouTube. This has been a Civitai.com creator session. We will be back on Monday with Ali with Office Hours, and I will be back on Thursday with AI video and animation. Yeah, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I appreciate you all. Make some cool stuff and tag us on Twitter, and I will re-share it. Peace, everyone. Lola, thank you. Stick around for a minute while we go offline here. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone. See you later.